Hi, I'm Dan Sweet. I'm with Helicopter Association International, and welcome to this week's webinar. Now, I suppose I should stop sharing for just a second. Maybe I will do that so that everybody can see. I'm not in the office today. Normally, when I'm doing these webinars, I'm in our office in Alexandria, Virginia. Today, I am coming live from EAA AirVenture in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. This is my second year here, and wow, this show is working on me. It is stunning. They expect a record crowd of nearly 750,000 people at the show this year. And there's more aircraft than I can even begin to count. And there's aircraft that are coming in, aircraft leaving, aircraft doing flybys. If you are involved in aviation and you haven't been to Oshkosh, I cannot recommend this show more highly, except for our show, HAI Heli Expo, which will be coming to you in Anaheim, February 2024. So let me go ahead and bring my share screen back up here in just a second, and we will get going on our topic today. See if my mouse decides where it needs to go. Oh, I love technology, don't we? It just does not want to transfer. There we go. Don't get discount. And we're going. Obviously, our topic today is up in the air at EAA AirVenture. And what this is meant to be is an update on why does HAI come to these shows? What are some of the things we're here trying to do for you as members of HAI or for you as police? And so we feel it's very important to attend shows that are not our own. Some of these are, well, all of our interviews today are recorded. This is one of the busiest shows, aside from Heli Expos, that I've seen. People are meeting all the time. And in order to get production on this webinar, I had to sort of cheat and get everybody pre-recorded. So our first panelist for the webinar today will be Jim Viola, President and CEO of HAI. And he's going to start out with an interview with Travis Sullivan, who's the Vice President and General Manager for Boeing Distribution Services. They had just a really brief chance to talk yesterday on camera and learn a little bit more about Boeing's distribution services. If you're not familiar, that's the organization that handles a lot of the customer support after the sale. We'll also get an update from John Shea, our Senior Director of Government Affairs with HAI. He's going to talk about reauthorization, 5G, and a few other issues. We have Greg Brown, who's our Director of Education, and he's going to talk about educational opportunities and workforce development, because we just know that there's a new Boeing release talking about our industry shortage for pilots and mechanics will continue. And it's actually gotten a little bit worse. We're going to see some interesting numbers in the future. We don't talk a lot about that today, but we will get into some of the workforce development. As always, our webinars are interactive. I probably won't take very many questions at the end because I can give you my perspectives on things, but if you're asking questions about recordings from Boeing or from Jim Viola or Greg or John, I probably won't be able to help you too much. Our webinars are recorded. These recordings will be made available 24 hours later. Usually we try to get them up the next business day. Sometimes it gets into Monday if things go on with the video render. So let me stop sharing there, and I need to open up my other video, and we will get this going here in just a second. Share screen again. Sorry, I'm working with two monitors, and the mouse just keeps wanting to not move for me. So I do apologize for the disruption here. Okay, here we go. Let's watch the video with Travis Sullivan and Jim Viola.
Hello, I'm James Viola, the President and CEO of the Helicopter Association International. I'm here with Travis Sullivan from Boeing. And today, we're going to find out about Boeing. So Boeing is known for the production of military helicopters, but tell us about the support division and what else you can do for the helicopter community.
Well, when it comes to services, Boeing is broad, robust, and very active in the support of the helicopter community. We provide services across training, flight ops, tech ops for the military, commercial, civil, and general aviation helicopter communities. I lead distribution services, and what we provide are part solutions across each one of those segments, and it's for operators, for maintainers, for owners, and manufacturers of helicopters as well. Boeing brought together two acquisitions, KLX Aerospace and Aviol, into a combined distribution services business. And when you bring together the power of Boeing with those two acquisitions, we have an unmatched product line, 15 million parts on our catalogs that we can provide anywhere in the world. We provide that through supply chain services arrangements, we provide it through an e-commerce channel, and straightforward transactions. So our real focus in services from a parts perspective is ensuring that helicopter operators around the world have the right parts at the right place and for a very compelling price.
Tell us about the parts and distribution center and how that helps the helicopter community.
Well, our distribution services, they bring together what I think are two powerful differentiators in the marketplace. On the one hand, you have the size, scale, and breadth of what I think is the industry's largest and most compelling product line. We provide products as wide-ranging as washers and fasteners, to chemicals, to spare lighting components, avionics, and even engines and engine components. You bring that together with the global breadth that we provide. We have 50 warehouses spread across the world, and we are in a position to provide the helicopter community a one-stop shop for virtually any part they need, anywhere they need it. Getting the right part, the right place at a compelling price.
That's good. So the support services also that you provide the customers. Tell us about that.
Yeah, our support service is based again on that geographic breadth. We have a sales team, we have customer support and service teams spread across the world. We bring a philosophy that you know the customer when you're close to the customer, and so we are a remarkably global presence that sits with our customer, that understands their needs, and tailor shapes solutions that meet exactly what they're looking for in terms of the maintenance, operation, and repair of their helicopters.
So the customers, what benefit do they get from working with Boeing?
Yeah, like I said, I think they benefit from the scale of Boeing, the breadth of our product line, and again, that global presence I think is really important because we're in a position to offer that support anywhere in the world.
Well, that's great. It's really great to be here at Oshkosh. We've got over 600,000 people for sure going to be here again this year. So that touch is great.
Fantastic.
No, appreciate it.
Well, hey, real pleasure.
Pleasure meeting you.
Thank you.
Okay, that was an interesting look at Boeing, and I'm trying to get back to my other video to share with you here. That'll be the interview directly with Jim and with Greg and John. Let me get that opened up. We'll get that one started here in just a second. Okay, now we're joined with Jim Viola, President and CEO of HAI. Jim, welcome to our webinar today.
Oh, outstanding opportunity.
Obviously, we're not at the office anymore. We're out at EAA AirVenture at Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and we are at an air show. So I'm going to tell you right now, things are going to get noisy. We'll try to stop if we need to, but we'll do our best to just keep going on. So this is not your first EAA AirVenture. What are your impressions this year?
Oh, wow. It seems like every year it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and better. And really excited this year with helicopters because, out at Pioneer Field, there used to be 1 or 2 or 3. And right now, yesterday I counted 11. So really
Wow,
good year for rotorcraft.
That's nice. I remember you were out there kind of by yourself last year.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
How many years have you been attending Heli Expo or AirVenture?
Well, I started coming here in, I think 2012. Still with the FAA, and it was kind of my big introduction to really general aviation. And although I still flew helicopters and airplanes as a CFI, I never saw and knew that you always had to get to Oshkosh, and of course AirVenture being the proper name. And I've been coming ever since that first one because that's just such great opportunities.
So what keeps you coming back then?
Well, first year you come and you see a little bit of what's going on because you don't see the whole thing. And then all of a sudden, well, I got to fly, I got to do the arrival. And then after I did it, being a typical flight instructor, I was like, okay, every year I'm going to bring my Tiger. I was airplanes at first, so, before I had better access to helicopters. And I would try to take FAA folks in with me that were in decision-making positions and show them an arrival and show them what general aviation is, as well as mechanics and maintenance personnel. I mean, this is the grassroots of aviation, and this is where you see all the new technology that is slow to get through the process a lot of times for certification. But the folks here have been doing it for years and years.
Well, you mentioned flying your Tiger in the past. You flew up in your Robinson R-44. How was your flight up?
Great flight. I always try to plan for 2 days just so I'm no feel pressure. Just as we talk about, not be pressured to get somewhere. And most times, and this year being with the most times, it was a 1 day. It was right around 8 hours. No pressure, but also was able to check out the Indianapolis heliport, that we're trying to do some advocacy with to make sure we don't lose that infrastructure. So it's a great flight up.
Oh, good to hear. So why is this event, AirVenture, important to our industry, rotorcraft industry?
Well, I think I started with the technology. I mean, the technology here that works its way in to the aviation starts with the innovation that you see here, because they're totally unconstrained. And then after it's proven through experimental instrumentation, then you get an experimental aircraft. You got gyrocopters here, you've got rotorway here, you've got all kinds of experimental rotorcraft. And then you also have, just like we have behind us, Chuck Chirac with new owner Enstrom, we've got an Enstrom 480 behind us.
And it's a beautiful machine.
Yeah, it is gorgeous. I think I keep telling them I gotta get a bigger hangar.
Well, yeah. Now this is the same helicopter you flew in during first flight at Heli Expo this year. How did it handle for you?
Oh my gosh, it's really smooth. It's a great aircraft.
Oh, good to hear. So we know why you like coming here. Why is it important that HAI is here?
Well, we were here when I first started coming, and then there was a gap in there, and when we came back, we had a little space. And when I took over in 2020, I said, okay, we got to get back there, and we had a little place in one of the big hangars, and realized that we are a DC association that represents our members, and the proper way to do it was a decent sized presence. And I've certainly been getting all kinds of attaboys from our members who appreciate us being here. And so I think we are here to stay. We're at 363 this year. This will air on Wednesday, so we still got some time for folks to come by and check us out. But we'll be in this area every year. So I want to set that precedence as well, as that where to find us every year. And then if we have members here, I really reach out to them, give us feedback as to how can we help you while you're here at AirVenture every year,
Well, and you mentioned the new technology, and HAI is absolutely involved in the evolving and supporting the advanced air mobility industry and the UAS industry. What's going on here, and why is this important to our industry?
Oh, well, number one, on the government side, ideally, this is a place where, Jack Pelton will tell you, we had over 600,000 people last year. I think they were saying that they sold more tickets prior to opening than 600,000 for this year. So we know those numbers are big, and that means you can come here and have the opportunity to interact with that many people. So when you're talking about return on investment, that's where you want to make contact with all those individuals. So, we had Whisk fly yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, having the ability to see some of this new technology actually get in the air has been outstanding.
Right now, this morning we had a thunderstorm. The weather's been busy. I know you had meetings with involving the Eagle Fuel program. I know you've had meetings with the Department of Transportation. Have you had a chance to look around at all? I know as an ex-Army pilot, there's a lot of current military aircraft and a lot of old military aircraft here. Anything stood out to you so far?
Well, let's talk a little bit about what you mentioned. So, we started off on Sunday with the Eagle. They kind of did a report out of where we are and how we're trying to support the Eagle initiative, which means that, we know there's some STCs out there for the unleaded fuel, but I want people to be very careful as you read some of the stuff of where we actually are. So we want to make sure that when we make the switch, that there's a nice, smooth, planned transition, and not that just pockets of fuel start showing up. We want to make sure that the whole infrastructure of producing the fuel, transporting the fuel, getting the fuel at airports is all worked out before for you, the members that are burning low lead right now. We don't want that low lead fuel to go away. till we solve the problem completely. And we're committed with the FAA to do that by 2030. We think we'll be done prior to that, but don't be in a rush to swap out. Don't be in a rush to do, follow some stuff you're seeing. Just let us tell you that we're really being, really want to be planned event for that transition on the fuel. And that was Sunday. And then we had the FAA had a great opportunity with the head of aircraft certification here on Monday and got them to meet with Enstrom. Enstrom moving the production, that it never really left, but getting the PC back from China and now producing it, just 2 hours north of here has been big. So I'm trying to get everything back up, going there and getting the visibility that they need with the head of aircraft certification. The FAA was really key for how we support our members. And hopefully that's an example of what we can do for you if you're having some issues with the regulators. And then we got to go up a level yesterday with our government affairs by having a meeting with DOT. And again, looking at future stuff, where are we going in 20 years? How can we help with the infrastructure and keep doing great things there? And then, of course, now today, starting off with Women in Aviation breakfast. I mean, there are so many things here. No, I'm not going to see it all. And I try to pick one major event a day that I can make sure it's kind of leading. And today, kind of reach out again, but the members that are seeing this is key for us today.
Well, I know you've been talking with members since they came up to the booth. You've been talking with helicopter people just in general. Again, this seems like, based on my perception originally, had been a general aviation fixed wing show, a lot of experimental aircraft by the name of it. But there's a lot of helicopters here, a lot of rotorcraft people here. Has that surprised you?
No, because I think you're doing a good job of communication. Our marketing's doing a good job. When I'm going to go into the safety lane now, because number one, we want to keep the accident rate down and we want to keep the helicopter accidents off the front page. And the way to do that is we have to have this outreach. We have to have the programs that we're offering our members. And it's the less than 5 aircraft that are having the accident rates. And so we got to get to the owner operator. We got to show them what we're doing to give them the tools to be as safe as possible. The SMS opportunities out there with partnerships that we do on the maintenance side of the house as well with AEA. So there's things we're trying to do that we have to touch the individual operator. And I think we're growing our individual members as well as, the board of directors is from organizations that operators are out there that own businesses. But I want to also touch for the safety side, the individual owners that can own an Ensign, can own a Robinson, can own a Schweitzer, can own a Roadaway. Roadaway, hopefully I'll get some time like I did last year to go down at noon, they're just down the road here doing their operations and they're showing the Scorpion, some of the other home-built rotorcraft. I mean, but they got to read up on how to operate those things safely, and we want to bring that safety to them. There's a lot of work if you want to do it yourself, where you can join an association that can kind of combine that and help you do it.
It's been overwhelming. This is my second year here, and Heli Expo is huge. It's the largest rotorcraft show in the world. We have a wonderful attendance. This one just so massive, and I think that's what makes it such a positive event, where you can have the DOT here, you can have the FAA here, you can have international safety organizations. There's vast representatives I've seen who've been walking around as well. Yep. So you kind of can see everything.
Yeah. So when you say vast, I want to spell that out for some folks who are having some communication. Vertical Aviation Safety Team, which again is co-led by myself and Meg Marin, who is with ICAO, the International Civil Aviation Organization. And it's about saying that there is a global safety plan out there for essentially people that don't know ICAO, which you might not know. It's kind of a UN. It's the aviation arm of UN, and it's about there is best practices that we want to help as we get vertical aviation around the globe to support society. And some societies are afraid to bring us in because they think we have too many accidents. So that's again where we have to help with that outreach of, hey, here's some best practices. How can we get it to your country, to your region? And that's I really appreciate ICAO as part of that, and Mig does a great job for us.
Well, Jim, I appreciate the time you took out of your schedule today to visit with us. Just in closing, is there one aircraft here that you'd love to fly?
Well, I have not flown a battery operated airplane or helicopter yet. So I really, if you're watching this and you can hook me up, I really like to. I know the R-44 now has the capability to fly on batteries. They've done it on California. So yeah, I'd like to get some flight in electric vehicle.
That sounds awesome. Okay, well, thank you so much, Jim.
All right,
Appreciate your time.
thanks, Dan. Appreciate it.
Hi, we're here with Greg Brown, our Director of Education for Helicopter Association International. Greg, welcome to our webinar.
Glad to be here, Dan. Thank you.
Hey, you've been to Oshkosh many times. Are you enjoying the show this year?
It's been fantastic just to meet up with old friends and acquaintances, folks from my days in the military. You meet up at sea, so it's always good to come to Oshkosh and then see old friends and catch up.
Nice. As Director of Education, you're leading our educational goals for Helicopter Association, but you're also leading in a strategic initiative on workforce development. So let's start with that one. We have a pilot and a mechanic shortage, as everybody's aware. Why don't you tell me about the work that HAI and the HAI working group are doing to develop more pilots and mechanics?
HAI has created the Workforce Development Working Group. We have assembled a fantastic group of industry professionals who are dedicated to taking care of and finding out solutions for the workforce issues. We got together about 20 to 25 industry professionals, and we've had 4 meetings so far, and we're working hard to find solutions to help with the workforce shortage. It affects our industry greatly, and the industry has decided we have to work together as a team to come up with solutions to solve these problems.
Well, we're at a show that's generally accepted for general aviation, fixed wing aviation. What kind of opportunities does HAI have here to help with workforce development?
We have a great opportunity. First, I'd like to thank Instrom Helicopter Corporation for donating their Instrom to be part of static display here at our booth. Because what that does is draws in interest for folks wanting to see what the helicopter looks like. They can get a chance to get in and sit in the helicopter. And it's been great because there are a lot of young people who have come up, looked inside, and were excited seeing a helicopter and learning more about the helicopter. So a place like this, where people who have not even thought about coming into our vertical lift industry will get a feel for, hey, this is something I may be interested in. And so it's great just to have the helicopter in front of our booth and for the kids to come up, especially young people, to learn more about the industry and the opportunities available for them.
We both got here about the same time. I think you had an extra day on me. And I know you've already had a bunch of meetings with different people regarding education, your other role with HAI. How do you use shows like this to curate content for our LMS, Heli Expo, other educational opportunities?
It's great because there are first of all, lots of great universities that are here that deal with pilots and mechanics. Some we know that are members of ours, some that are not. It gives us the opportunity to go out and outreach and introduce ourselves to, especially the maintenance schools, which we have a big maintenance shortage going on. So we meet a lot of good people from the maintenance schools and talk to them. We also meet with the representatives from some of our manufacturers, big manufacturers who provide classes throughout the world. And this is an opportunity to talk to them. We have a few conversations with some of the big ones, and we're going to get some courses that will be viable for our members online.
Speaking about online, let's talk about our online education benefits within our membership program. What are the educational benefits we have for members?
So we have a lot of great educational benefits. First and foremost, with King Schools, we're offering members a 30% discount on King Schools courses. And we have lifetime access to those courses, with the exception of the flight instructor refresher course, which is only limited to 6 months. But every other course, once you purchase the course, you have lifetime access to it and all the updates. We have an agreement with Purdue University Global, where our members get a 20% discount on undergraduate courses and a 14% discount on graduate courses, with the exception of doctorate degrees. The great thing about this program is the membership and the discounts extend to members and their families. So this is one of the great things about it. We are constantly looking and working with teams, trying to find additional benefits for our members So it we always want to try to find good good stuff for our members. The last one is we have a lot of great content from business training experts that provide some good education content. So come on, take a look and see some of the benefits that we have. We have improved a lot.
Okay. Well, you mentioned it a little bit. We have a growing online academy where people around the world can take classes when it's convenient for them in their own time zone at their own pace. You want to talk a little bit more about our LMS?
Sure, we have agreements with some of our a lot of our teaming members. First, we have Convergent Performance, where we have 8 courses that are currently online. The great things about that is we have 3 of those courses that are maintenance specific. So our maintenance members can get on there and get some courses. The second part of that is we have, again, as mentioned, business training experts that have communications courses and courses that focuses more on leadership. The third one we have relates to our 56 seconds to safety. If you have not taken that course, I highly recommend that you get online and take that course. And in conjunction with that course, we have 3 documents that are associated with it. So go online, it's www.rota.org/education and see all the great content that we have online.
Okay, it sounds like there's something for pilots, mechanics, and other aviation professionals.
All the aviation professionals, and we are constantly working to upgrade and provide more content. We have in discussions with a few more providers, so we're working that. As soon as we get that, stay tuned.
Speaking of staying tuned, I hate to do this, but I think we're 7 months away from Heli Expo. And obviously the educational courses that our HAI offers at Heli Expo are significant. You're the guy who puts that all together. Tell me what you got in mind for 2024 in Anaheim.
So we have a lot of excellent content, beginning with the professional education courses that starts prior to the show day and ends the Monday prior. Great diversity of courses, lots of new content from some providers. We're in the final stages of our selection process now, so stay tuned to our website as we finalize that, provide the updates online. Rotor Safety Challenge, again, some really good new content to provide, so stay tuned for that. And of course, we always have our manufacturers technical briefings where OEMs, suppliers provide great updates on their product and services. So lots of good things coming to Anaheim. Stay tuned, and we get them online and updated for you soon.
And the MTBs, the manufacturer technical briefings, that helps qualify a mechanic to get their inspector authorization.
Yes, all of our courses that first presentation, I should say, for the manufacturer technical briefings, I strive to make sure that they qualify for inspection authorizations. So at least 1 hour of my inspection authorization credits.
And I didn't think about it, but I think a lot of your courses also qualify for wings credits.
Rotor Safety Challenge, most of our courses qualify for wings credits or IA credits. So stay tuned for that.
Okay, Greg. Well, thanks for your time. I know you need to get out and talk to more of your contacts here about classes for all of the different programs we have that are educational here at HAI. So thanks, and please enjoy the day and the rest of the show.
Thanks, Dan. Glad to be here.
Okay, now we're joined by John Shea, Senior Director of Government Affairs for HAI. John, welcome to our podcast.
Awesome. Glad to be on.
Let's
Thank
try
you.
this again.
Yeah.
Podcast webinar.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, so yes, we will start things over.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Okay, now we're joined by John Shea, who is the Senior Director of Government Affairs for Helicopter Association International. John, welcome to our webinar.
Glad to be here.
And welcome to Oshkosh. This is your first time?
Yeah, first time to Oshkosh.
And looks like we have some kind of gray skies this morning, but hey, the show will go on, I'm sure.
Yeah, a little liquid sunshine.
Okay, so you work in government affairs, which means that I usually think of you and the rest of the government affairs team walking the halls of Congress, you know, hitting doors, hitting offices, visiting members of Congress, visiting committee members. Yet you're here, and I know you have a very full schedule. What kinds of things are you doing here, and how does it connect with the work you do in Washington?
Sure. Well, I mean, I think first and foremost, our mission here is to meet with our members and discuss what's going on with them, what they're seeing, what their reaction to things in Washington are right now, kind of taking that back and, seeing how we can apply it. But in addition to meeting with our members, whether it's here at the other tents or booths, we're taking meetings with DOT, FAA, DOD, NASA. A lot of things going on right now in Washington, not just the FAA reauthorization bill, but on the regulatory front as well. So we're making this time to meet with those folks as well as our members, even a lot of time at the same event. So very productive.
Okay, well, what parts of your work here at Oshkosh do you consider the most productive to be with our members? Maybe just finding out their perspectives on the reauth or 5G, or just getting to know what their pain points are?
Yeah, I mean, I think really getting to hear firsthand from them is probably one of the most beneficial things. Getting to meet with our government affairs colleagues at some of the other associations that we rely on heavily for coalition work in Congress with various bills and other issues. Getting to share information with them, catch up in an informal setting where things are a bit more laid back and not everybody's in a suit and tie, and really just getting to kind of shoot the bull on all the big issues that we're working on.
Okay, well, that's a great feed in for the next thing I was going to talk to you about. Obviously you do work in Washington, D.C. most of the time, or at state legislatures or things like that. But right now, I know there's a couple of really big ticket items in Washington, D.C. We are going to have you back on in the webinar in about a month to bring us up to date on some things. So let's maybe in a nutshell, tell me what's going on with the reauthorization bill.
Oh, well, a lot. And pleased to report that just this month, we were fortunate to see in the House of Representatives, the FAA bill pass with overwhelming bipartisan support. This is the first FAA bill with a general aviation title. I can't express how significant that is. In there, really, I feel like there were a lot of wins for the industry that will keep this GA family moving forward into the future. There's a lot of wins on workforce development, really going to be able to bring in the next generation of pilots, a lot of investment there. They tackle some big picture issues too with AAM and UAS, and do so in a really forward thinking kind of way, where we're looking at both safety and innovation, and how do we take a whole of government approach to making sure that everybody's coordinated and talking to each other, and that we ensure leadership in that field. So a lot of really good things, and really, moving forward, we've still got things to work on in the Senate. There's been a few delays, but between now and September 30th, there's still some optimism in Washington that we can get it done, believe it or not. So we're moving full steam ahead on that front.
Okay, well, this issue really came to the forefront about 18 months ago, when all of a sudden everybody realized the 5G issue was going to be a factor. The 5G interference from cell phone communications. But there's been a couple of new developments recently. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. So come July 1st, that was a significant date on the 5G front. Multiple different entrants into new providers on the 5G front came into the market. Volumes increased on the frequencies. This prompted FAA to take some actions necessary to maintain safety of the NAS, and with that came an NPRM AD for the transport categories, so your airlines, and then one for rotorcraft as well. I think FAA took a balanced approach to this. They ensured that safety would be maintained. We're hearing that there's good cooperation between the RA manufacturers and the OEMs of rotorcraft and other aircraft, and then also with the operators. And so I think a big part of what our role is really at this point is just making sure there's awareness of what the limitations are, and also kind of providing some information about who you can contact to make sure that you're compliant, and really just getting the word out there. I think that's our main role right now. And we were really happy to see FAA take steps to ensure that our air med operators continue to be able to operate even with night vision goggles, which, as you know, was an issue. But the exemption that HAI put forward has been maintained, so we're glad to see that. And things are
moving forward. Okay. Another issue that kind of popped up this spring, but it's been on again, off again over the last couple of years, are the air tour management plans that are proposed by the Park Service, and they have to work with the FAA to receive comments on that. Where are we at on ATMPs?
Well, this has been it's been a difficult road. We fortunately Jim Viola is on the NPOG, which is an advisory committee to the National Park Service, which is creating these ATMPs, air tour management plans, that are being put into effect all around the country. Our major concern is they're implementing these in such a way where some of the advice that comes from the advisory committee that was put into law by Congress, they're not looking at all of the various components that they should when doing this. And that ranges from safety to economic. And we're doing our best right now, whether it's through REOF, or also through just kind of our outreach, continued to our members to get them to engage when the proposed plans are up in their regions. So we're remaining engaged on that, but there's a lot of work to do, and I'm hopeful that we'll come out in a good spot.
Okay, sounds good. The final issue I was going to bring up with you, actually, there's a little bit of crossover with some of the park tours with sound issues, and so there's regulations across the nation that are trying to regulate the amount of sound from a helicopter. You want to talk about that?
Talk about that a lot. So we call it a sound of service. It's part of life-saving missions that take place all across the country. That comes with what we provide, which in many ways is an invaluable service that can't be provided through any other means. And we know the importance of working with the community, flying neighborly, and community compatibility. So we've been taking steps proactively to go to more sound sensitive areas and try to find a way to engage with the community stakeholders, also with the FAA, and say, what's in the art of possible? What can we do through community collaboration? How do we educate on this front about what the rules of the road are and how we can comply? Then also, what if there are opportunities for us to make changes, then we'll certainly review those. We've had success with this in the DC region recently with the program that we set up, and we were able to, with the FAA, kind of identify some pain points and increase altitudes and routes and make some adjustments there that are providing some relief. So, again, there is a path to do this, and it doesn't need to come with overburdensome regulation, and that's really been our focus, and we're pushing ahead with that too.
Okay, John. Well, thanks so much for joining us today here at EAA AirVenture. Hope you enjoy some of the air show, get to see some of the booths while you're not working, or maybe just in passing as you're heading out to see members or government affairs teams. But look forward to seeing you here in about a month and talking more about where the reauthorization has gone in that time. I know Congress is going to shut down in August, so we'll see how things look.
Well,
thanks so much for your time today.
Dan. Appreciate that.
Okay, that kind of brings us to the end of the video portion of the presentation today. It's been really interesting watching the video. Our location here on the EAA AirVenture location, we're about midfield, and so right now there have been a series of jet demonstration teams that have been translates well off the microphone at all, but wow, it's overwhelming to be around for something like this. So let me go ahead and switch over to the other screen again. Still trying to find the cursor. It just keeps wanting to jump around for me. And we will get things wrapped up here. Sorry about that. It sounds like my audio may be kind of low. I don't know if things sounded got blown out. Do apologize for that. And see here. Okay, save the dates. Our upcoming webinars here in the next month get a lot more dynamic than where we are now. Next webinar we'll have is on August 10th at 4 p.m. Eastern, as always. CEO to CEO with Clyde Wilton and Leonardo USA. Jim's going to sit down and discuss how things are going with Leonardo and learn a little bit more about what they've got going on. I think there's some exciting developments they're getting close to. So I think that it'll be a really interesting discussion. And then as we talk to John Shea there at the very end, there's a ton going on up on Capitol Hill. The advocacy team has been very involved in working with committees and Congress members to discuss the reauthorization bill to support the rotorcraft and vertical flight industries. We have the 5G issue where there's radar altimeter interference, air tour management plans, and just a whole bunch of other information coming up. It's going to be a great time. We expect that Congress will be coming out of recess, getting ready to get back to work. We should have a good idea where the reauthorization bill is going to go at that time and how it will affect you. HAI does like to share information. We have a couple of different products that are really aimed at helping pass information along. Rotor Daily is our daily news aggregator. It covers usually between 10 and 20 different news stories. We're going out to Google, we're going out for the Federal Register, we're going out for a number of sources, getting the information that we think you'll find valuable so you don't have to. We send this out every business day. We try to get it out around noon Eastern. And it's just a great way to learn about what's going on in your industry as well. Rotor Magazine is a quarterly published award-winning magazine publication that has a lot more in-depth information. It's not something just a quick casual read. We like to really get in depth on different features and focuses. And both those products are free. As right now, both of them are free. If you do subscribe to the magazine outside the United States, there's a small fee for shipping. Otherwise, all you have to do is go to rotor.org/subscribe and we'll get your name on the list of both Rotor Daily and Rotor Magazine. I believe there may be a questionnaire coming out shortly. We do appreciate information on webinars. If you have any thoughts, ideas for future webinars, we'd love to hear it. And if you have a concern for HAI regarding anything that HAI does, something you may have on the webinar today, something you've experienced at Heli Expo, other interactions with HAI, we'd love to hear about that too. We are a membership-based organization. We want to serve our members, and so we always want to see what we can do to make things better for everyone. The easiest way to do that, send Jim Viola an email directly. His email is president@rotor.org. He reads all of them, he responds to most of them, and he also passes some of them on to his staff for action. That does wrap us up for today. I appreciate that you took time out of your schedule to watch. We've certainly enjoyed being at EAA AirVenture. We hope that if you were ever at an EAA AirVenture in the future, that you come join us. And we look forward to seeing you guys again really, really soon. Until then, be safe, fly safe, and we'll see you again right away.